Hey there, today we're working on the float accumulators lesson. We're working on the second challenge. And this is asking us to sum up the absolute value of all the floating point numbers in mixed data using an accumulator called abs sum. So we can see we do have a mixed data here. I'm going to go ahead and break this into two lines just so we can see everything together. We do have a list of mixed data types. We have some floats, some ints, we have a string, we have a couple of booleans in here. And what we want to do is we just want to sum up all of the absolute values of numbers which are floats. So this is an accumulator lesson. So the first thing that we're going to need is something to accumulate into. And typically when we're doing accumulation, which is certainly the case in this point, certainly the case here, we want to use a for loop to iterate through our list mixed data. And we want to say, I'm going to say for obj. I have mixed data. Some of this data is floats, some of it is integers, some of it's strings, some of it's booleans. So I'm not going to say for num or for value. I would rather keep it generic and say for object, since I have a bunch of different type of objects. In my mixed data list, I want to say if the type of my object is a float, then I can go ahead and add that to my accumulator. But this is saying we want to make sure that we're doing the absolute value. And if you don't remember, we covered this function ABS, short for absolute value, when we introduced the floating point data type. And we will use that here to make sure that we're using the absolute value. We do have some negative floats in here, so that will change the value. And we can go ahead and give that a run, see if it passes the test. It does. I am going to show one other thing. Typically, the more Pythonic way to do this is to use the isInstance function, which takes two arguments. The first is the object that you're taking, or that you're actually checking the class of, and the second is the class that you want to see if it is an instance of. So I want to see if my object is an instance of the float class, then I'll go ahead and add it. I'll run this test again. We should get another pass, which we do. So you can solve it either way. What's important here, make sure you use the absolute value. Make sure you identify the data type before you add it to the accumulator. We'll see you in the next video.